What's up guys, welcome to Daily Refinement. This video is a long time coming. It's exactly how I file my taxes as an eBay seller. A lot of people have asked this question, and I'm going to go over how I do my eBay accounting and bookkeeping in actually under 5 minutes per month. You could do the whole year in under an hour for sure. So I'm going to go over that step by step in this video. A lot of people are also scared of that $600 rule where eBay will actually report your income if you earn $600 or more in 1 year. I don't want you guys to worry about that because on this channel, we recommend people list at least 5 items per day. And if you make $10 profit on 5 items per day, that's literally $18,000 a year in profit. So if you have to pay income tax on that $18,000, I'm going to show you how to do it in this video. So I appreciate you guys. Don't be afraid of paying income tax because with an eBay business, you get the opportunity to write off a lot of things. And a lot of people, even with a regular job, would consider opening an eBay business if they understood the tax deductions. So I appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the show. Before we get into the show, the example that I'm using has 1,000 transactions in a month. So you do not need line-by-line accounting where you have 1,000 lines for 1,000 transactions. And each line has all the different costs that you paid, all the different shipping that you paid, all the different eBay fees that you paid. That would be literally thousands and thousands of cells. So instead of that, you just need one category. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So essentially, you can add up all your shipping and just count that as one deduction on your taxes. So I'm going to go over how eBay reports your taxes in this next section via a screen share. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment down below exactly what your question is, or you could email me at chris@dailyrefinement.com. We'll see you guys in the screen share. Okay, so here's the spreadsheet. Again, a reminder, it's at bit.ly/dailyrefinement taxes. You can click on file and then make a copy, and you can save this onto your own computer to use and under your own information. So the example that I'm going to use today has 1,000 transactions, and I'm going to go over the steps that you need to set up your accounting and bookkeeping as an eBay seller. So number one, you need a separate bank account. So you need to go to the bank and set up a bank account. I've estimated this at taking 2 hours of your time. You do not need to be a business. You do not need to be a corporation. You're by default through the IRS a sole proprietorship. So all you need to do is open up another bank account with your social security number. This is the account that you're going to attach to your eBay account so the revenue goes in there. So after you get that set up, I'm going to recommend either you use the business debit card, or I recommend a separate business credit card that you only use for the business and that you pay off using this bank account. So a debit card is easier. If you're not good with numbers, I recommend you just use the debit card. Do not mess with the credit card. If you're going to use a credit card, remember you have to pay off your balance in full every single month. And I have other videos on how to maximize credit card points and how to leverage your credit cards as another stream of income. But to make it easy, if you're not good with numbers, just use your debit card and this separate bank account. This is really important. Setting up a business bank account and a debit card is going to take a couple of hours, but it will save you a ton of time. So number 3, this video is actually sponsored by 1-800-ACCOUNTANT. They have offered every single person in my audience a free consultation. So please help me out and actually call them. The link is going to be in the description below and in the first comment. Click on that and get a free consultation. And the reason why I want you to set this up is I want you to explain your situation to the accountant so that you can explore the different tax deductions that come with that. So are you eligible for a home office deduction? How much mileage can you write off? Everyone's situation is different. You want to maximize your deductions. They've been very generous. They offer everyone a free call where they go over all the consulting for you. Please use it. It doesn't cost you any money and it helps the channel. So number 4, once you have this spreadsheet filled out, you can actually take this spreadsheet, your bank account, your eBay fee statement, and any receipts that you have when you write on a receipt book for a cash transaction. You can put all those together, take them to a CPA, and they can file your taxes. So how the taxes works is it's actually a Schedule C, and this is what you use when you're self-employed, and when you work for yourself, you file a Schedule C on your taxes. So whether you have a corporation or not, it's the same. You file a separate statement for the IRS to let them know how much money came in. So this is the important part, and if you give the accountant just your bank statement, your credit card statement, the handwritten receipts that you made like at garage sales or flea markets, and your eBay statement, they can do your taxes for you. It's very straightforward. Or you can even do like myself and just do it yourself. It's not very complicated. Do I recommend you sign up for a business? Probably not in the beginning. Just file taxes under a sole proprietorship. And if you are wondering if you should or shouldn't get a corporation, I would talk to the CPA for free and figure out exactly if it's worth it for you or not. Number 5, also, if you want to join my mentorship group at patreon.com/a-resource-podcast, we have spreadsheets and other tools available to help you keep track and learn how the expenses work on eBay. So now we're going to go into the spreadsheet that I made. This spreadsheet, in my opinion, is enough to really understand how much you owe in your taxes. But again, I'm not an accountant, so don't sue me. This is just how I actually file my taxes. So pretty straightforward. Let's get straight into it. The first part of it, you're going to fill this out from the eBay Performance Sales tab. So I've included the link here on the spreadsheet. Once you click that, it'll open up in your browser your sales history. Mark the specific month that you're looking at. So as an example, I'm using one of my stores, the actual February numbers, to let you guys know what they are. This store I do completely by myself. It's at a 30 item a day clip. And this is about 1,000 sales for last month. So I'm going to give you guys the exact numbers from my store to give you an example of what this looks like. It was much easier to do this store without posting it on social media, because when you're on social media, you have people looking at your store that don't buy anything. It messes up the eBay algorithm. So if you're wondering if you should use social media to help your eBay store, I would say not. If you're just selling a few items, then sure, talking to your audience is great. But if you have a lot of audience, that traffic that doesn't convert hurts your store. So in this example, the total revenue, including taxes, was $25,852.27. This is important because this is the number that eBay charges you their fees on. So this is not the amount that you're responsible from the IRS. This is the amount that eBay charges you their eBay final value fee on. It's important to understand that. I have a separate challenge, the 100 listing challenge, where you can go in and figure out how fees work, but how fees work and how you file your taxes are actually separate things. This is more on how you file your taxes. So of that $25,852, $1,285.17 was collected by eBay as sales tax and remitted by eBay to the state that it belongs to. So I never saw that money. It came in, was collected the sales tax, and went out to that respective state. Not every state eBay collects the sales tax. You might be liable in your state to collect, remit, and keep track of all that, but I think in the future, or if it's not already the case, eBay is collecting that tax and taking care of it for you. So now this is the most important one. I've marked this in the spreadsheet as a black box. It's the eBay revenue. This is the amount that eBay will report to the IRS. Okay, it's very important because in this scenario, the IRS is going to get a note from eBay saying, I did $24,567.10 in revenue. If I do not file my taxes, that's the amount that eBay is going to charge me their tax based on. Okay, so it's my job, it's your responsibility at home to do the deductions so that you don't get taxed on this full amount. And don't worry, it's not complicated. Pulling 3 numbers from that from that report will give you this spreadsheet. You need to pull in how much eBay collected in sales tax, how much the eBay revenue was, and how much the shipping fees were, and how much the eBay fees were actually. So those 4 things, I'm gonna just change this right now. You need to put in the eBay fees. So once you put in the eBay fees, the shipping costs, and the taxes, the calculator will tell you how much you made and how much should be sent to your bank account. Now, this is important and it's a bit confusing. The amount that's going to your bank account will not match the eBay statement. Now, this is a confusing part, and I had to call an accountant to make sure before I made this video. That difference is the refunds and credits that happen in your account. Now, this is very difficult to reconcile because refunds and credits that happen are usually from previous month's transactions. So unfortunately, it's like this month you had a refund or a credit from something that happened 40 days ago. So it's difficult to reconcile. So what I recommend is you just do one line for eBay refunds and credits. And in this scenario, this spreadsheet will calculate that for you automatically. So this first part will give you what eBay reports, but what eBay reports and what they send you will be slightly different because they've deducted all the refunds and credits and fees. So that amount that they send to your bank account, this is the important part because that's what your gross receipts are, how much you physically got in your hand from eBay. So in this scenario, it's $13,000 is what they deposited into my bank account. So this is interesting, right? I did $25,000 $852 in. That's how much money came into my account from sellers around the world. I'm sorry, buyers from around the world. Half of that is already gone with shipping costs, the total taxes that were collected and remitted by eBay. So I'm already left with about half. So it's interesting to understand what is left. So from there, I just entered in a couple of common things that people have in their eBay store. There are a lot more deductions with this, so you have to talk to an accountant, like 1-800-ACCOUNTANT, and see what other deductions you qualify for. But the main ones I put in here are cost of goods sold. So in this store, every single item I got from the flea market, and my average cost was $1. So 1,200 transactions, so I put in the cost of goods sold of 1,200, right? So depending on what your cost of goods sold are, what this is gonna be is the total of all your receipts from Goodwill, thrift stores, online arbitrage, Target, all that stuff, put it into a shoebox. Maybe scan them online if you want to go that far. You don't have to. Add all those amounts together. When you go to the garage sale, withdraw money from the ATM, write that on your receipt book as your cost of the garage sale. Add all that number together. That's your cost of good. That's how much you paid per item. Then a lot of people have storage costs. So if you have a storage unit, you can put in $1,000. One of my units is I use for this separate store, and I just put in a rough amount of $1,000 for electricity and the cost. But if you do this at home, this amount's actually going to be zero. So if you're doing this at home, you're kind of just utilizing space that you already have for yourself. You could put zero here. Finally, there's two more things. The mileage deduction right now in 2022 is 57 cents per mile. So at the bottom, you enter in how many miles you drove. So I recommend on the first of every single month, set an alarm on your phone, mark down what you drove for the month. So let's say you drove 1,000 miles. 50% of the time you use it for family, 50% of the time you use it for business. Deduct that in half. So now we have 500 miles I put in here as for this example. So I get to deduct, it's actually 57 cents a mile. Let me see. Yeah, okay. So my deduction is $285 for my vehicle expenses. There's other ways to account for that. You can either do a mileage deduction or you can add up all the literal costs of your car, but I don't recommend you do that. I always recommend buying a fuel efficient car, Japanese car, and then taking the mileage deduction. You usually earn a little bit more money on that. So you're gonna enter in how many miles you drove each month. One time per month you do that. And the final thing is, if you hire any contractors to help you, if you have somebody helping you with photography on the weekend, or somebody helps you put stuff away, you would enter that in. If you work for yourself, that amount would actually be zero. Okay, so that leaves you with your total taxable revenue. And in this scenario, it's $24,567. So that's the total amount, not including sales tax. This is the amount that the IRS reports. And that's what you're on the hook for. So in this example, adding up all of my expenses, it's $14,052. So I'm left with $10,515. This $10,515 is what I would have to pay state and federal income tax on. So again, I'm not a CPA, but this is the breakdown of how it would all work. And it's pretty straightforward, right? I think that you should be able to get your bank account and your credit card statement and your eBay bill and do all of this in less than 5 minutes per month. I recommend doing it on the first. Get yourself a kombucha and knock it out in a few minutes. It doesn't take very long. Now, the reason why people don't do this is they don't take the time to set up a separate bank account and a separate card where all their expenses are, and they don't get a receipt book that they can keep track of their cash transactions, and they don't set up time with a CPA. So it's pretty straightforward. Getting your taxes in order doesn't take very long. Also, if you are behind, don't worry. Call 1-800-ACCOUNTANT and ask them what to do in your situation. It's actually not too complicated to get back in order. I've talked to the IRS before talking about my own personal taxes. They've been extremely helpful. I've had nothing but good things to say about the tax man. And again, I know a lot of people are trying to avoid tax, but I think you should do this by the book, because just 5 sales a day is $18,000 a year or more. And that is like that's like a maximum 401k deduction. So I appreciate you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.